So we got the Nine of Cups, we got Ace of Cups reverse, we got the Moon reverse, and we got Four of Wands. So this can honestly be a week of reconciliation, not even with, and obviously in some cases with folks that we might have had that discourse with the previous week, but also people from way back when, people from the past, people we've had disconnected cycles with. So very often in friendships and in relationships in general, we end up disconnecting with people that may have meant a lot to us, we had a really charged relationship with, and it's only for a reason. It's so you can learn your own lesson and that person can learn their own lesson and reconvene. A lot of the times this is a lesson you were trying to teach that person and they weren't responsive to, or vice versa, and they had to go and learn it from someone else without you being there and learn, oh, so and so was trying to show me this, or blah blah blah, or this was what spirit was trying to show me, whatever. So this seems like a week where a lot of that can happen, but it also feels a lot like there is going to be a lot of emotional turmoil in the midst of that. There's going to be a lot of feelings of not being nurtured, and of not being able to, or rather, let's phrase it this way. A lot of you are expecting some big form of spiritual awakening or spiritual gratification, or something that's going to be life-changing, like baptismal waters. And it's not always going to happen that way. Sometimes it'll happen when you stop ignoring the exact thing that you were supposed to be doing. So for a lot of you, it's going to look as simple as crying. It's going to look as simple as being able to have a conversation with your mom. As using everything that you've learned with other people, with friends and community, on your family. It feels like a lot of ancestral energy has been coming up for all of us, and this is something we all need to heed and show more love to. Give offerings to your ancestors, talk to them, pay more attention to your dreams, even if it doesn't look like people you could be related to. Very often, if you feel that connection, it's there. Sometimes we could have dreams of, you know, people that we've never seen before, us in a position where it just feels like it's a movie, and very often this is something that happened in a past life. So I will share something with you guys. A couple years back, I had a dream where I was in like the fucking wild, wild west type shit, and I was a Native American woman, and I was being chased by a white man, and he had a gun, and I was running around like a compound like area, and I had berries in my hand, and I was trying to eat the berries, and I was afraid that they would stain me or stain wherever I was and make it obvious that I was there. And I felt a sense of panic, but also a sense of, this person isn't going to hurt me because they have some kind of connection to me and they want me or some shit like that. But it was still like, I don't want to be with you. Leave me alone, right? So a couple months ago, I'm in my room, I'm meditating, and I feel a very strong presence come into my space. And I'm like, you know, who are you? And it's an ancestor, and it's a white man. And he's just like, I'm sorry, and I need you to forgive me so I can move on. And I'm just like, you know, like us as people of color are always talking about our ancestors of color, our native ancestors, our Taino ancestors, our African ancestors. But obviously a lot of us have white ancestors that got into our bloodline by doing things that were not very kind. And they're still part of us. Whether we choose to forgive them or not is up to every individual person. I choose to forgive because you're still in my blood, you're still here making me aware of things, and you're still present with me. You know, you're still a part of me. So that's something I had to come to terms with. A lot of you guys are going to have to do the same, and it's not always going to look like that. It's going to look like a lot of different things. A lot of ancestors coming to you, asking for forgiveness, asking to be fed, asking to be shown some form of love, asking you to heal something through your from them through your own body, right? So being aware of that energy and knowing that this is what you asked for. A lot of folks have been asking for deeper connection with their ancestors, and it's not going to look the way that it does on Instagram. It's not always going to look like, oh, well, I fed my altar and my ancestors are giving me all of this and I am blessed. Ain't nobody posting the gritty work. Ain't nobody posting the parts where you cry and you have to heal through abuse, through toxins, through, you know, painful deaths and diseases. You know what I mean? And these are things that have to be done. And it might break your heart in ways to see what people have dealt with to bring you here. But again, they dealt with it to bring you here. So love back on them. It's very emotional. It feels very emotional, but it's a blessing to be able to do so. So if this is something you ask for, know that it will come to you in more intense ways, but it doesn't have to be bad. They're always with you, always loving on you. And obviously, the more you heal them, the more you can hear them. Heal here. Heal here. Right? So aligning with that and knowing that that will give you a deeper sense of spiritual freedom. A lot of you are coming into deeper respects and deeper aspects of being able to utilize your psychic senses. A lot of you are coming into or stepping into bigger roles of being the anchors of spirit in your family. And this is going to look a lot like you relinquishing the roles, the fear, and the repetitions of I can't do this or I'm not ready to do this. You are ready to do this shit now. So do it. Stop being afraid. Open your circles, ask for protection, and know that you can do whatever it is that you need to do in that moment. You know, a lot of you are going to consider more, or not even a lot. There are only 2 of you who watch this are going to feel like that. But within 2 months, a lot of you are going to start considering stuff like initiation. Take your time. Talk to people that your ancestors are aligning you with, that your guides are aligning you with. Trust yourself. And pretty much what it feels like is it's time to stop ignoring your intuition. It's time to stop ignoring the aspects of you that ask you to dig deeper. And this is where the moon comes in. A lot of you are dissatisfied with the answers you receive. A lot of you feel like you have to do double confirmations and are feeling like you're confused or feeling like you can't trust your gut. You can trust your gut. You can reconfirm within yourself if it's absolutely necessary. Of course, you know, go to someone like me or someone like your local healer. But also learning how to rely on the parts of you that are insatiable, that are inevitably going to develop within you, right? So I would say if you need to get that reading to be told what you already know, for the folks who have been practicing for a while, do it. Just so you can remember that they told you already. Right? Also in alignment with the moon, paying attention to the moon cycles, aligning with the moon cycles, and asking the moon for guidance. Working with spirits like Yemaya or Diane. In alignment with your own spiritual practices. Working along with that, right? What feels really good in terms of building these kinds of energies is building back up relationships with those friends, right? Building back up relationships with the folks that are on the same path as you or coming back into your life. Speaking clearly and honestly with them. I feel like if these are folks that you've taken a break from, it'll be very liberating to be able to say, hey, when this happened before, I didn't really like that. And now that we've had time away, I've had time to really think about that. And I think we need to have a conversation on boundaries. My favorite thing in the world. Conversations about boundaries that will help you avoid bullshit, you know? Being direct, being honest, and being able to take that power that we developed a couple weeks ago and bring it on into our friendships, bring it on into how we relate to other people, and bringing it in to be able to say, hey, this is the person I've become, this is what I've learned about myself, and this is what I'm bringing into this relationship. This is the version of me I'm bringing into this relationship where I acknowledge what I need. So are we doing this or not, you know? And not even in a confrontational way, but in a way where we acknowledge that when we breathe new light into relationships, we bring our whole selves into these relationships. We don't hide little pieces of ourselves anymore. We don't minimize ourselves for anybody else's love. We don't minimize ourselves at all. We make ourselves big, baby. We keep ourselves big. And we allow other people to be big. And we acknowledge that if there are parts of us where we're uncomfortable with other people being big, we have to handle that with ourselves, you know? And we have to let other people know, I need space. So being able to do that and be real about it, because mind you, this Four of Wands is on top of the Devil. So we're breaking patterns. We're breaking these ideas we have of what relationships have to be or what people have to mean to us. Nobody is your fucking symbolism. Nobody is meant to always embody a role for you. If they do in the moment, that's cool. But once they decide not to be that anymore, you respect that and you move along. So being able to acknowledge that and acknowledge that Leo Aquarius action, right? People will represent things at a time, but they will move on from that because we are always evolving. This is a time where we're rapidly evolving. So being able to acknowledge this person is so much more than I could ever encapsulate. And I don't want to encapsulate them because I love them. And that's what that means for me is super important. Break those chains. Rompe cadena. Okay. So Amethyst Druzy. Wait, did I already read this one? Yeah, I think I did. I need to just put them on the bottom of the deck. Hey! That labradorite. There we go. My baby labradorite. Do you often feel inspired to write? Are you a channel for messages from the divine? Take time to clear your conscience to discern the truth. Set intentions to gain clarity and allow inspiration to flow through you. Trust that the information and wisdom you transcribe will help you and those around you. You, Leo, those around you, Aquarius. Align, trust yourself, believe in yourself, right? So in alignment with all of this, I'm feeling like a heaviness in the chest. I'm feeling like a heaviness in the heart chakra. So there will definitely be a lot of heart chakra healing around this point. So working with Lotus that opens up the heart, that opens us up to newer information, to divine channeling, to anchoring the heart chakra into our new selves, into our new relationships. It already feels liberating. Talking about it will help a lot. Fennel is so bright, so warm, so just like, it has this like minty bright energy. I don't think it's in the mint family though. I'm not sure. If it is, let me know. But allowing your chest to breathe, allowing your lungs to open up. We store a lot of trauma in our lungs. We store a lot of emotional pains in our lungs. So being able to use these energies to liberate our bodies of this is super important. So if around this 3rd week you want to work with those energies, definitely do it. All right? So